Mudflood in Tartaria, Lost Knowledge Part 10. Lisa Renee, August 7th, 2021, is the story at roserambles.org. Evidently, the blog is owned by Rose Rambles, but the author here is Lisa Renee. And it begins. A relatively new community of mudflood and Tartaria enthusiasts have gathered online to share research findings from an array of sources and share information that does not fit the official historical narrative. The profound amount of information surrounding these events are numerous and provide more evidence than the hidden societies run by the power elite were for the purpose of altering the history of humanity within a very short period of time. In all levels of research and truth-seeking communities, there are the assigned trolls, controlled opposition, and those agitators paid to debunk this movement. It is the online trolls that will be screaming the loudest about the idiotic nature of these investigations, and they will appear first in search results. During some recent tracking of the moon's geometric relationships connected to the great floods of the past, brought the topic of mudfloods into awareness, along with internal questioning of accepted narrative. What is affirmed is that the threads to pull on will reveal a whole lot more information about what happened as an epic reset in the middle 1800s, in which many places, people, and events were promptly erased from our historical records. Why are many events misdated and mismatched? Why were many public records all over the U.S. suddenly destroyed through fires, flood, and freak accidents in the late 1880s to early 1900s? The destruction of evidence and records seems to coincide with the events subsequent to the change of power connected to the Act of 1871, which established the District of Columbia and handed control to the international bankers at the Vatican and in London, preparing for the One World Order. In 1881, the Congress of the United States gave $5,000 to the Smithsonian Institute to conduct archaeological excavations relating to an assortment of prehistoric structures and mounds, in which most of these artifacts disappeared or are missing, and nothing was ever heard about them again. During this time of religious fervor, some believed that anything which did not support the Church and its interpretation of the Bible was not destined to see light in the public domain. There's a lot to unpack here about the narratives given by the authorities in charge of archaeological products or projects, and the missing evidence that includes a wide range of prehistoric artifacts, everything from the graves of giants, high-technology objects, stone circles, mounds, pyramids, and ruins from a more recent past in the United States. Many maps of the past few centuries depict a large country called Tartaria that was depicted in northern Asia, but their highly advanced architectural signature is found all over the world. The history of Tartaria points to the possibility that they were an advanced civilization, using free energy and technological devices similar to the Atlantean culture. And so this disrupts the official narrative. The existence of Tartaria was erased from the historical records about 120 years ago, and this country is never mentioned in the history classroom, along with a lot of other stuff these days. Although naysayers will say this doesn't matter, indeed it does. It points yet again to factual evidence in the ways our recent history was and is being manipulated and crafted for serving a purpose that is not in support of humanity. The loss of our historical records and memories means that we suffer the loss at levels of our collective consciousness. Our real identity submerged and stolen, which holds the power of the inherent divinity we are. The advanced architecture designed for atmospheric energy extraction is derived from what appears to be the civilization's last remnants of structural evidence that have been found by researchers looking at the earliest articles and old photographs located throughout different nations' historical archives. Most of these magnificent buildings and towers have various antennae and copper or metal domes, which seem to be partially buried in a barren mud landscape, with a few bewildered onlookers. In the old photos, I imagine they mean. Some of these similar tower designs for generating wireless energy can be found in old photographs taken during the period from the mid-1800s to about 1912, circulate in the mudflood community. The very few black and white photos that managed to survive of post-Atlantis technologies that were using principles for extremely sophisticated levels of building architecture were shown to be used in the area previously known as TartarIa, in which this evidence somehow evaded detection and was not confiscated by our controllers. The advanced knowledge in this civilization reveals that the cities were planned as strategic points over the earth, near long canals, rivers, seas, lakes, and oceans. They built some of the cities in star fortresses, which extracted electromagnetic energy from the environment, which was then circulated wirelessly through towers and obelisks, and then stored in the red and white striped power stations. It appears during the Great Reset of 150 years ago that evidence of the Tartarian civilization was likely destroyed between the 19th and 20th century through mud floods, directed energy weapons, and scheduled mass exterminations. The architecture and technology of this superior civilization was stolen and passed into the hands of representatives who are tasked with destroying human civilization. Could it be that these many events of the 1800s were the final book burning, destroying all records in history, removing all advanced knowledge of the human civilization, including the Tartarian people? For those interested in missing artifacts in the United States, an article was published in the newspaper by the Franklin Repository in 1858, which states, "In every portion of the U.S., interesting ruins have been found. Sculptured figures of 100 animals of different species, executed in a style far surpassing that of the Indian. The state of Ohio abounds in ruins at towns and fortifications, with extensive towers and pyramids. At Marietta and in Missouri, beautiful pottery, silver and copper ornaments, and pearls of great beauty have been dug from the earth. In the caves of Kentucky and Tennessee, mummies have been found in a high state of preservation, clothed with cloth and skeins of various texture, inlaid with features. Those ruins, majestic and beautiful in appearance, but overgrown with thick forests of mahogany and cedar, of immense dimension and great age, prove to the world that a great empire teemed with an immense population, a people skilled in mechanical arts and in an advanced state of cultivation. Clearly, we are living through yet another attempt at a great reset, scheduled in their orchestrated plan to be completed by the year 2030, filled with timeline deceptions and historical facts and records that are being erased in front of our eyes, as they have done many times before. The change of frequency occurred during the bifurcation cycle, is happening with those individuals that are willing to change their consciousness accordingly. And they will naturally find themselves in harmony with the shifting frequencies of the organic timeline of ascension. As Earth goes through its evolutionary journey through the galaxy, interacting with varying geometric relationships made with the astronomical universe, the solar plasma frequencies are being transmitted to the planetary grid network of humanity. Again, our true history reveals the methods of the ancient builder races, which utilized this sacred geometry to create magnificent and beautiful structures that resonated with the Earth's energy field. And because these structures were harmonically attuned to Earth's field, they amplified the higher consciousness and healing properties that restore and maintain energetic balance. By using the geometric patterns found in the divine laws of nature, those frequencies would be attuned to the gradually changing frequencies of the planetary body and her evolutionary growth cycle. The science of resonance is a science of harmony, that which designs and creates structures and things that vibrate according to certain frequencies. When we view our interaction with life as a massive radio receiver, we then understand we have the ability to attune to any frequency we wish to express. May the music of unconditional love, peace, kindness, beauty, and happiness be in your sacred heart. Knowing that this choice of personal frequency matters more than you may realize. This is a momentous time for human liberation, as we are awakening into greater realizations of the emotional betrayal that may be prevalent in many situations being revealed to us. This is the time for radical self-care, a time to pray and meditate, knowing our physical and emotional limits, while supporting our loved ones and friends as best we can. Please only take what is useful for your spiritual growth and discard all the rest.